Recently I bought the Yamaha Reface CP, and it's my first keyboard that I've had in about 7 years or so. I'm not really a keyboard player, but I wanted something to accompany my ukulele better. This one is modeled after several 70s and 60s keyboards. I wanted something that had more of a keyboard sound and not so much of a synthesizer sound. So I'm just going to show some of the different sounds that you can get out of this and a hidden mode that's actually quite useful. So I'm going to start with just the external speakers, which I find quite terrible. So here's just a sample of what the external speakers sound like. So I think that's about all I need of that. They're good enough to practice with if it's sitting in your lap or whatever. But it's really, they're at max volume and it's still hard to hear much of anything. So actually, if you turn the unit off, then hold this key, it will disable the external speakers. And I'm now routing everything through the Zoom R8 recorder. And I have it hooked up in stereo mode because some of the effects are stereo and they actually do sound quite a bit better. So here's what the Reface CP sounds like through a line out. Quite a bit better. That is actually just the CP mode, which is my favorite to play in so far. And I like to keep everything down an octave. Since it's just a 3-octave keyboard, I don't need so many highs. So that was the CP mode. Now I'll go to the toy mode. This one I really don't understand at all. I don't think it's useful for anything that I'll ever do. So I actually wish it didn't even have that mode. I'm not going to use it. Here is the Clavinet mode. So that one's quite funky. I really like how it sounds like you can hear the strings vibrate. It gets quite deep too, especially if you go down an octave. Not so useful for that, but here's the Wurlitzer mode. Really smooth sounding. I like that one quite a bit too. Still has a lot of clarity though. Then it actually has 2 different Rhodes modes. The second one they say is a little bit brighter. So that one definitely has a lot of ringing sounds with the notes and everything. Sounds quite nice. I think the Rhodes one, quite a bit more mellow. I tend to like mellow, so this one's one of my favorite modes too. Yeah, so that one's quite nice. There's a drive mode. You keep that at 0. It's pretty standard. Let's up that to 50% or so. You can hear the signal gets quite a bit louder. Here's it cranked. So it starts to break up a little bit. And then the reverb over here. Here's without reverb. Here's at about 1/4. Then about halfway. It's already sounding pretty rich at that point, so if we crank that up, it's going to be quite wet. So I actually like to keep that at about a quarter. I think I'm going to leave it there for a while now. So for the effects, this one, these both work in stereo here, so that's why I have the stereo outputs going. The tremolo. Sounds really good with headphones on. Then the wah. Then here's the chorus. I think the chorus fits the Rhodes mode very well. Phaser. Hear a little bit of a warble sound. Then it has two different delay modes. The digital delay, which kind of, at this setting, it repeats almost endlessly. And with that, you can actually create some pretty spacey ambient things. So that one's actually quite fun. Then there's an analog delay, which it's actually my favorite one out of the delays. Okay, then I was talking about a hidden mode. So on the type dial here, if you put it right in between two different settings, I usually find the best luck between the Wurlitzer and the Clavinet. You power off, then when you power back on, it actually loads up a patch for the Yamaha people, and it's just an acoustic piano. And I think it sounds quite good, actually. I would prefer if I could take that patch and replace the toy mode, which I'm not going to use at all, because the acoustic piano's one of the most usable modes here, actually. And then all the effects work just fine with that mode too. So that's the Yamaha CP. Obviously, when you're doing the line out, sounds great. Internal speakers, I think, are pretty terrible. Toy mode is pretty terrible. With the special mode, right now it's still in the special mode, even though it's showing Rhodes. But if you move the dial so it actually switches into one of the notches, then it changes modes back. So I usually just leave it in CP mode. Because it sounds quite nice, but I would prefer to use the acoustic mode more often, probably. So yeah, and this is all going through the Zoom R8 and just my Canon EOS M. So thanks for watching.